Hello, everybody. I am restarting. I'm so sorry about that video. I just got Facebook basically kicked me off of live. So I am so sorry about that, guys. So this is going to be part 2 of session 1. So I'm not going to go over the introductions again. So hopefully all of you make your way back. I'm actually on my laptop now, letting everybody know I had to restart the video. So just while I let everybody jump back on, I'm going to type this on my laptop here to get everybody back on. So I am really sorry about that, you guys. Let's see. Okay, guys, let me just post this really quick so everybody knows. So, and I'm sorry that totally just took me off track, but I'll just go over again what we're focusing on throughout this week. And these again are the foundational pieces that I've put in place in order to make my business so secure, in order to know that my center is doing okay. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Laura. Thank you for joining. And I hope everybody else who is on can get back on. I am so sorry about the technical difficulties we're having. So anyway, I basically, when I first started doing this, and I did the same training 6 weeks ago, right? And before, when I first did this, I had to sit down and ask myself, what are the main things that I have in place that has made my business so strong? And there are 5 pillars that I came up with that really we have so solid in place. And you guys, if you know anything about me, and if you've been listening to me before, you guys know I research business practices. It's like an obsession of mine. I read business books. I listen to business podcasts. It's just something I'm really obsessed with. And so when I sat down to figure this out, it was a pretty educated analysis of why my center is successful while I see so many other centers struggling, and why I'm not afraid to go into a recession was the big thing. It's like, I know I'm fine. We're going to be fine. Why is that? So there's some principles that I have in place that have really helped me. And the first one is I have a really strong vision that I have made sure is very contagious. And I will be going through the vision piece today. And with you guys, I will be going through to make sure that you guys have the information. And I'm sorry, I'm turning my ringer off since my son is calling. There we go. So vision is the number one absolute necessity foundation piece that you have to have if you're going to have a successful center. Hi, Tamara. Sorry, guys. I just keep sticking my hand in front of there, right? There's so many of you guys coming in. I'm sorry. Hi, Tammy. Thank you for joining. So the vision is like that foundation piece, and we will go more into that today. The next piece is intentionally creating your center's culture and brand. And that will be tomorrow's session. I'll talk about how do you create a really strong, lasting culture and brand for your center. How do you make sure that it is just really strong and just solid? Okay. So the next day, we are going to talk about developing your dream team and by being a leader. I know that when I talk about your dream team, the first thing that people are going to say is that, oh, well, there's nobody available for me to hire that's going to be a dream team. Or you're going to say, I can't afford to pay enough to have a dream team. And I'm going to tell you guys, none of that is true. If you're having staffing issues, you absolutely have to watch Wednesday's session. Because you guys, I don't pay my team what they deserve. I can't afford to. I'm a childcare. You guys know when we're in childcare, we can't afford to pay what they deserve, right? They don't get teacher salaries. But there are ways around that. There are ways around creating a dream team with what we have. And it all comes down to your leadership. So if you're struggling with your staff, if you've got that feeling sometimes like, I just need to fire them all, I can tell you guys that comes from within. That's not the team. And we'll go into that with you guys. I will go into detail on how I recruit, how I train, and how I have developed the amazing team that I have now. I have extremely good employee retention. A few of my staff members have been with me for over 10 years. My average staff member has been with me for over 5 years. And my staff is just, they're passionate and they're dedicated. And we're going to talk a little bit about that every day this week. So the next one number 4, which is on a Thursday, we're going to talk about creating a strong business structure. And this is one of the biggest issues owners and directors have, is you have to have strong processes, policies, procedures. You have to have a really strong system that keeps you consistent, because consistency is really what's going to make you successful. It really is. That is where you're not going to get the customer complaints. They're going to always know what's expected. So creating a strong business structure is going to be Thursday, and Friday we're going to do high quality research-based standards. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that, but I'll tell you guys, there's so much that goes into quality, and it has to be research-based. As a young owner, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I thought I had high quality, but I didn't, because I was making it up as I go. When I did a shift and really started turning towards like NAEYC standards, following Eckers and ITERs, and I will put all of this in the comments for you guys so that you know what I'm talking about, my business just transformed. My center became a place where parents compete to get in. We went through my wait list through this whole COVID crisis, and we literally called every family on my wait list to see if they were still interested. My wait list is still at 330 families. 330 people are still trying to get into my center after this COVID crisis. So just an example of what having those high quality standards that are research based, how it can really pivot your business, you guys. Takes enrollment to a whole new level. Yes, Beth says systems are king. They really are. Systems are really what's going to get you going. Hi, Brandy. Look, I'm at work and you're not. Go figure. So systems are really what is going to get things just really smooth and operational for you guys. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why I do this. What is my vision? Why am I driven to help you as owners out there? And I'll tell you guys, there's been 2 different incidents where I've almost lost my center twice. And the first one was really, really early on. I was a brand new owner. If you haven't heard my podcast or watched me before, a flood hit my city 2 weeks before I was set to open. It damaged the building that we were having built, everything. So it took us back 2 months. I had not planned properly. And so by the time we did open, I was out of money already. I was already out of money. I had no working capital. So that was a huge struggle, huge struggle. We almost lost at that point, but we persevered, made it through. Second time, I got very sick. I actually have a neurological disease. And when I was going through that period of my life, I completely checked out of my center. I was not here physically, mentally. I was just gone. And everything, it got so bad. I cannot even tell you how bad it got. When I decided, when the writing was on the wall that something had to change. And I can tell you guys, my mother and my husband had encouraged me to shut it down. I actually had somebody solicit a buyer who came in and was ready to buy my center out from underneath me. And there was more than just that. That's just part of what happened to me during that time. Everything just kind of snowballed, and I realized if I don't do something, I'm going to lose my business. And if you've watched me before and heard my podcast, you guys know I actually got an eviction notice. We had a 72-hour eviction notice on our door for my center. And between my mom, my husband, this woman coming in trying to take over the center, I realized if I'm going to make it, I need to do something. And honestly, you guys, I had to pull my head out. I had to do something. And I did. And here I am today. I am still in the same building 10 years later. So it's the changes I've made that I want to bring to you today that got me from having eviction notice on my center's door to sitting here today, 10 years later. It's actually been a little bit more than 10 years. But though I've been at the bottom and I know how desperate it feels, I know how lonely it feels to be an owner that you just don't know what you're going to do. And that is really why I launched this business. I've also been a director. I was an owner director. I know how you fall in love with your center, whether you're an owner or a director, you just fall in love and you want to make sure that you're here for your families and your staff. And there's so many people relying on you and nobody knows the stress of signing somebody else's paycheck until you do it. Nobody understands that. So that's really what motivated me to start my podcast and to start this business, Childcare Business Professionals, was so that I could help save other owners from the pain I've been through or help them come out of where I was, just find their way out. So there is actually one more day I'm going to mention that we're going to do. Monday, we're doing a bonus section. Christina, one of my financial advisors, is actually going to be on Monday to help with the financial part of making sure that you have a strong, sustainable business. I don't really dive too much into finances. I really go into just the business model and making sure your business is solid. So I have asked my financial advisor and business coach to come in and talk to you guys. So that I just wanted to mention that. So that's pretty much where my why is. That is why I've started this. That's why I want to bring you guys this information. That's why I'm doing a seminar for you guys every day of this week, 5 days for free, so that I can help as many owners as I possibly can out there to find not just the success, but to be okay, to know that your center, this is going to be hard, you guys. Getting through the next few months is not going to be easy for us, but we can do it. We have a decision to make, and really it is in your hands. You can decide if you're going to make it or if it's time to quit right now. So I am going to do everything I can to bring you the information I can to make sure that as many of you out there that follow me and watch me have the tools they need in order to succeed through this COVID-19 crisis. So that is my why and my vision. So the reason I bring that up is because your vision is your why. It's why, what makes you get up in the morning? This is really hard right now. This is stressful, right? So if you're open, like my center has not closed throughout this entire time. We've been open. We did not close for a single day. But there are days that we wake up, I'm sure, and it's hard to get out of bed right now and come to work and deal with everything that's happening and all the decisions that are being made and the parents that are calling. And there was one day where I had come in early, and I am not a morning person. My staff will tell you I'm usually here around 10 a.m., but I had come in early to help. I don't remember what brought me here. I was here about 8 a.m. and by noon I had done nothing but taken phone call after phone call after phone call from parents who got laid off. It was just exhausting. Like literally just my director and I, it was just exhausting for us to just be on the phone and just talking to people all day long who lost their job. And I was averaging 115 children a day, and we dropped to 37. And that was stressful, right? So what got me through that time? What actually helped me to get through and to be here every day without, just caving to the stress and the pressure? And why is it that if you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll see, we have a lot of fun here, right? And even through this time, we're laughing, we're having fun, and I can stay pretty positive. There's moments that I have, I'm not going to lie, there are moments, but I can stay pretty positive. And it is my vision. My vision is what gets me through every day. My vision is what brings me here. It is just what really, let's see. I was like that in April. Yes, I had a breakdown. Yeah. Absolutely. I have been there. I was in 2011 was my breakdown year. But that's why I want to help you guys to know that it doesn't have to be that way. You guys, we can get control. And in order to get that, you have to have a very strong and authentic vision for your center. It has to be authentic to you guys. And if you guys have your workbooks, there is information on there. Like if you want to follow along with your workbook, some of the things I'm going to be going over today is going to be in there. So I'm actually going to pull mine up right now. I forgot to pull it up at the end. I like to go over it with you guys to make sure that I covered everything and answered any questions. But really, if you look at day 1 in your workbook, it is really designed to help you guys come up with your own vision. Writing a vision statement is not easy because you've really got to dig deep inside yourself. You've got to find out why, what is your passion, what is going to really motivate you and keep you going when things get really, really hard, right? So let me see. I got to find my workbook really quick, which I think I moved it. So now I'm not going to be able to find it too quickly. But anyway, I'll move on because we're not going to do this till the end anyway. So the other thing, the reason your vision is so important also is your vision develops your growth, loyalty, and it inspires people, right? It's going to really get those customers loyal to you, your staff loyal to you. It's going to be inspirational. It creates staff retention, and it also helps with family loyalty and retention. It helps you so that your staff, well, your families become a billboard for you. They become your advertisement. There's just so many people talking about your center and you're the place to be. And it really just becomes this movement. That is why your vision is so important. It really will fuel your center. So the first step to making sure that you have a good vision is make sure you really have clarity. And if you look at the workbook, the questions I put in there for you are really to help you to gain clarity on why you're doing what you're doing. Why did you come into early childhood education? And I can tell you guys, if you came into this field to make money, this is not the field for you. Absolutely not the field for you. There just isn't enough money to be made. You've got to have a passion for, there's got to be more, has to be more. And I'm willing to bet most of you, there is more. Most of the time I see people who are teachers or directors who just love the children and just wanted to keep going. A lot of people had their own in-home childcare centers and they wanted to expand and they just were passionate. That passion is what's going to keep you going through this crisis. That's what's going to keep you motivated. It's also what's going to be the turning point for your center to get that staff to be the staff you want them to be, right? When they know what your vision is and they really buy into it. So you really need the clarity. You need to know your vision forward and backwards. And you need to really just make sure that it becomes obvious. It may not be obvious to you all at once, but it may become obvious to you as time goes by. So you want to think about what kind of impact do you want to have on the world? That is one of the first things you want for what kind of impact, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? That is your vision. And you want to just make it come alive. One of the techniques I used to come up with my vision, and I do this all the time for myself with a lot of things in my life, is I ask myself, when I am 80 years old and I am looking back on my life, what do I want to see? What do I want to accomplish? What impact do I want to have? Right? So I want, picture yourself sitting on your porch, you're 80 years old, and you're just reminiscing about your life. What is it about your center you want to say, I did that. I accomplished this. This is what I turned my center into, right? That's where I usually start. I start at looking towards the end of my life and knowing what did I want to accomplish, the lives that I wanted to change. So that's where the clarity is going to come from. It's going to just become and you'll see if you go through those questions I gave you, it's just going to be that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do, why I wake up in the morning and I'm fighting for my center through this. The next thing is you want your center, your vision to be contagious. You want your staff to buy in. You want your families to buy in. It needs to just become something that people want to be a part of. It becomes like a movement. Think about people like Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, Elon Musk, right? These people were ordinary people. They were just like us one day. And they ended up having this extraordinary vision and dream that propelled them into a whole different level. But you guys, anybody can become someone like that. It all has to do with your vision. How bold is it? How contagious, right? So your vision is going to develop that growth. It's going to just make you take off. It's going to make your center take off. If you have a really nice, strong vision, it will inspire that loyalty, and it will automatically, when you've got that great, amazing vision, it will become contagious. It's what you sell to your staff, right? So what we do here every January, I have this big staff meeting where we go over my overall vision, our overall center vision, and I always bring out a story that is here that I can show the staff, like, this is our vision come to life. Do you see this child's life? This is the difference that we've made. And I'll tell you, like, this year, the story I used was from a little girl who is in my center right now. And when she started with us, her mother was homeless. And the child was actually failure to thrive, which means that she wasn't growing. She was basically dying. So she was taken in by this foster family who kept her here. And we just worked so hard with this foster family, right? They were here, Monday through Friday. We just worked so hard. So now this child is going into kindergarten in this fall. And you would just never even know that she was failure to thrive. She's like a normal little girl who is doing amazing now, right? And she's got this wonderful family. Her foster family ended up adopting her. So I went into more detail and I showed pictures because she's here in my center, and I really just, brought their heart into it. Let's see. Lynn asked, do you ever change your vision? Yes. And I will get into that today. I do change my vision. So I have an overarching vision that will never change, right? But then we have little micro visions within our overall arching vision. And I will talk about that a little bit. Hi, Alana. You were here today too, weren't you? So the vision, I want to make it contagious to my staff. I want them to buy in so strongly that it gives them something to work for, that they want to work here. It makes them proud to be a part of my team. And it's because they see the children that they're helping every single day. Alana, who is watching, is also one of my employees. So I'm sure she could tell you a story of how that vision that we have here has kept her. She's actually been with me for 11 years. And it's just, we make a difference. We really do. So I'm going to read to you guys Zoo and Around's vision, my center's vision, just so you guys get an idea. So at Zoo and Around, our passion is to provide a loving, welcoming atmosphere for every child, regardless of their socioeconomic barriers. We focus on providing developmentally appropriate experiences that enhance the growth and the development of the whole child. We guide children through building positive self-esteem, independent problem-solving skills, and social skills that will help them be a part of the community. We must partner with families in order to fill each child's early years with a nurturing environment of self-discovery. And I can tell you guys the key piece to my vision that keeps my staff and me motivated and that gets us up in the morning is that we are here to provide a loving atmosphere regardless of the socioeconomic status. Like I told you guys, that little girl we had here, she was homeless when she started here. Her mother was literally living in, we've had a couple, but I think she was actually living in storage units, right, at the time. So that's where we bring this nurturing environment. We know that they're eating here. We know they're well taken care of. We know that we're helping their growth and development, and that they are going to kindergarten being on the same track as every other child. That's what motivates us and brings us here. When you see it actually come to fruition, it is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. When you see these little babies, like we had one baby who was born addicted to crack, and her mother had actually abandoned her in the hospital. The only reason that her foster parents were even able to take her in was because we don't charge a copay for foster parents. So this family actually drove 9 hours to pick up this baby from the hospital, ended up adopting her years later, And she actually had come to us and told us the only reason she was able to even take this child is because we were there to help. Otherwise, she couldn't have done it. She couldn't have had the job. She couldn't have done it. So now that I know that this child, who now she's probably, I don't know, she's probably like 6 or 7. Alana, if you're still there, you could probably help me out with her age. But she's in this great home now. She's got the chance for life. That wouldn't have happened if we weren't here to help. So that's what I mean. Like, our vision is, it is just contagious, right? That is something that people want to be a part of. So the other thing, next thing, is that your vision should be audacious. And that is pretty audacious, right? The fact that we help homeless children, we help these little, this child who was left in a hospital, whose foster parent drove all the way to Las Vegas to take her in and couldn't have done it without us. That is pretty audacious. So that's something that you want. You want it to become a movement. It will be your legacy. It's going to be what you are known for. So one of the things I want to point out to you guys, that vision of mine is so audacious that you're watching me right now because of my vision. Think about that for a minute. The reason that I have my podcast has over 10,000 subscribers is because of my vision. That's how audacious and contagious my vision is and the legacy I'm leaving. I am helping each of you to have that successful childcare center that can also take care of children throughout the entire country, right? And I'm always talking about how, I do it without barriers. I do it so every child has the opportunity. So my vision has taken on such a huge life of its own that now I'm working on writing a book about it. I have a podcast, and all of that comes from my passion to make sure that every child has the opportunity to go to a good quality childcare center. So that's what I really want you guys to understand, how powerful a vision can be. I have over 10,000 people now who are following me because of my vision. So just think about the power behind that. So what I do when I start my vision, because they are so big, is I do have a 10-year plan. Okay. And I look at it like, so I have that vision I just read to you guys. Then I break it down into, okay, so where do I want to be in 10 years? Right? And then I take that 10-year plan and I say, okay, in order to achieve that 10 years, where do I need to be in the next 5 years? And then I go down and say, where do I need to be in the next year? And then I'll take it down a little bit lower. And then, okay, so now this year, in order to get to my 5 years, what do I need to do every quarter in order to fulfill this vision? And then we take it and we go down by the month. Now, what do I need to do this month? And I just map it out. Every month, you guys, at the end of each month, I map out what I need to do next month in order to get to that 10-year goal. So my last smaller vision, like I have the overall broad vision, and then I have smaller micro visions that go into that broad vision in order to make sure that I'm fulfilling my overall vision, right? And like right now, what I'm doing with you guys, this is part of a micro vision. It's spreading the word to others is part of the micro vision. Okay. So it still comes back to that, making sure all children have the opportunity for quality childcare, right? But then my sub vision in that is, now how am I going to make it more spread it to other owners and centers? I can't own enough centers in the country to make this happen. So how can I make it go even further? So then I have a 10-year plan. So how do I spread it to this many other owners so that their centers are doing the same thing, right? So the last time I actually was going through my journals and reading over my last 10-year vision, which I can tell you guys came to full life within 6 years. And there is an amazing feeling that you can get when you read through your past vision and you can see every piece of it fulfilled. It's all there. All of it is actually living and breathing today and happening in my center, through my other business, through my podcast. It's all there. So after 6 years, I had to start a new vision. So it does change, it does evolve, and it does grow. But what you want to focus on is that overall arching, this is my life's mission, right? And then you're going to do micro visions based on that. So you're going to take that and make it the vision for your center. So during our January staff meeting I was telling you guys about, one of the other things I do is I have my staff come up with visions for their classrooms. So each classroom has their own vision, and they'll do like a vision board and they'll put it up and whatnot. But I actually have them think about it. And yes, Sue, I have my queen bee nails on. I'm actually talking about the queen bee tomorrow. That is so ironic. I didn't even think about that. But tomorrow, one of the things I teach on is your center's queen bee role. And that's perfect timing. I didn't even think about that when I did that. So your staff also, you want them to have that vision too, right? So their overarching vision is going to be your center's overarching vision. And then their micro visions are going to be for each classroom. And all of that is going into making sure that your vision is coming to life, right? So there's just several layers on this. And by the way, I have a podcast episode on vision that I'm going to put in the units. So I'm going to be creating a unit for this. So I'm not going to go too deeply into how to create it because I do have a whole podcast episode to help you guys that you can listen to. I also have a blog post that walks you through it. So I will post those for you guys so that you can get better information on how to really create a living, breathing vision. So making sure that contagious though. What I recommend and what I do have in your workbook for you is a suggestion on making sure that you set up a time and a staff meeting in order to make your vision contagious. One of the things we've decided to do this year that's new and was actually my director's idea is we're going to be doing quarterly vision staff meetings now. And we're going to take it even on a more micro level, and we're going to create visions for the different realms of development. So we're really just going to kind of run with that. And now we're going to create like, for example, a vision for what is our center vision for literacy, for math. And we're going to start doing this quarterly. So that's just, where your vision can just really take life. But again, you're going to have that one overarching vision. Everything is going to play into, right? So just keep in mind, it's just so powerful when you have that audacious vision. The other thing with your vision, and kind of what I've been alluding to this entire time, is your vision is going to create a destination for you to get to. And it's going to help you to create a roadmap to get to that destination, right? So it kind of becomes a roadmap, and your micro visions become your goals, right? So don't confuse your overall vision with goals. You're going to have your big vision, and then you're going to have goals that are going to help you get to that vision, right? So your vision is like your destination, and you're going to create a roadmap by using goals and your mission in order to get to that vision. Okay. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's really going to be your final destination. And when it is amazing. I can tell you guys the first time I did this, I took a bunch of classes. I took this one class in particular that really just kind of touched on vision and mission. And I just got really curious about it. So I started reading books, and then I started taking other classes, and I hired a business coach myself that really helped me to develop a vision. And the first time I actually created a vision, it was a pipe dream. Honestly, I thought that it would be an absolute pipe dream. I wouldn't be able to fulfill it. I didn't think it would, I don't know. I thought it was a fantasy. So that first one took me about 3 years to fulfill. And when I looked back, I was so amazed. And so excited that I actually accomplished this. So when you put a thought out there into the world, it's amazing how it can actually become a reality. And I think sometimes we become scared to actually put those thoughts out there in the world because they seem too big for us, right? And so a lot of times we just become kind of scared to even dream. If you look at your center and you're scared to think of the fact that, could I possibly have a wait list of 330 people? Is that even a possibility? Is there a way that I would become respected throughout my state in order, to the point that when things like COVID happen, they look to you for, guidance, and you're asked to be put on committees. All of those kind of things were on my original vision. All of that has happened to me today, right? But I can tell you 10 years ago, I never thought I could accomplish that stuff. But I stepped out and tried. And I just kind of started creating these roadmaps. And it's the coolest feeling when you get there, right? And then they become bigger and bigger and bigger. Think of Steve Jobs or Martin Luther King. Can you imagine if they thought that their vision was too big for them? What the world would be like? Or if you guys know who Elon Musk is, he's the owner of Tesla. My son is just enamored with him right now. If he stopped, do you know, you guys, that Elon Musk is a multi-billionaire? Do you know that he has actually hit the $1 billion mark and gone completely bankrupt and lost everything and done it again? So during times like this, when it's really, really scary and we think, we're going to lose everything, if we do, we'll just build it back up. I've been there. I've done that. I've almost lost everything to the point that I lost a lot. But I've come to realize that it does come back. I mean, today I know it feels so overwhelming and so huge, but you can build it back up. So if you're like me and you saw your enrollment at 115 and now, you come to work one day and you're at 37, that is scary, right? Even with a 300 child wait list, I was scared. But you got to just stop and tell yourself, I built it once, I can do it again. And if you're just starting, you can do it. You're just going to have to build it, and I think sometimes too, when we give ourselves a reality check, like for me, I was really scared, but then calling all those parents on my wait list really made me reassured that, okay, we're going to be fine. There's not, there's so many people waiting to get in. I'm still going to be full once I go back to business as usual. So just kind of keep that in mind. Think of somebody like Elon Musk, who's made over $1 billion, lost everything. And I mean everything. The man went bankrupt to building up a multi-billion-dollar business again. He's done it more than once. Pretty impressive, right? And I think the key takeaway on someone like Elon Musk is that he didn't give up. I so often hear people criticizing different people like, oh, well, they went bankrupt. I'm like, because they had the guts to try something. That's why they went bankrupt. They didn't always play it safe, which is not a bad thing. And when they did fall down, they got back up. That's the most important trait that they had, is that they fell down, but they didn't let it keep them down. They got back up and they kept going. That's really the most important thing, is if you fall down, you get back up. So one of the things I really want to talk to you guys too is your vision is your passion, right? It's what we're really, really passionate about. But sometimes as the day-to-day happens, and right now I think a lot of you are probably experiencing this, the tactical part of our jobs makes us forget about that passion and about our vision. So I really want you to just create this vision, go through the workbook, do the work, and remind yourself why you're doing this, so that those tactical things that you have to do every single day, and those are the little things like dealing with billing, filling in for your staff that isn't there because they're too scared to work for COVID, or the staff who's making more money on unemployment so they don't want to come back to work. Those little tactical things can be exhausting. Right? They can get you to the point that you just don't want to get up in the morning. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to deal with this anymore. So in order to really overcome that, so that you will be here in a year, focus on that passion. Get that clear vision in place. It will get you guys up in the morning. I can tell you guys, like my staff who worked through this COVID crisis, that's really what got them here every day. Right. And I'm not going to say my whole staff, not my entire staff did. There were plenty that I have some high risk staff, and then I had some that were just really scared. And but those that are here every day through this crisis, which it got really, really hard. Right. I mean, it's getting better now, but there was times if you were open through this, it got so hard to work through this every day. But it was that passion. And I had we had an informal meeting one day in our hallway during nap time. And all of my classrooms actually come in together. They're like all the doors are together, so we can kind of stand in the classroom doors and have these meetings together. And I talked to the girls, and they wanted to work, and I talked to a bunch of them individually. And the consensus I got from over half of them was they did not want us to close. They wanted to work. And a lot of it is when we talked to a few of them, they brought up different children. And they just, brought up the fact that, okay, this child is in foster care. They really need to be here. They need us right now. This child's parents just got them back out of foster care. So how much stress is it going to put on that family in order for their children to be at home all day, every day, right? So it was so about the children. And that, it just became about that overall arching vision that we are here for them. So the fear did not overcome them. The anxiety, knowing that they could be making more money on unemployment, it was secondary to the fact of what they're working for. And that's why you need something that is really contagious. And, it takes that audacious dream and goal in order to make it contagious, sorry. So just keep that in mind about that. And don't let that tactical get to you. I know it's exhausting. And so many of you guys, owners and directors, you're filling in for your breakers, your cooks, I talked to so many of you guys who are trying to do it all. I actually talked to a director over this weekend that lost every one of her staff members. Every single one of them. And she's doing it on her own. But when you want to quit and you're exhausted, that vision's going to get you up in the morning. You just got to keep it fresh in your mind. You got to keep it at the forefront so that you know that you can make it. So Sue said, yes, absolutely, was about the children. Absolutely. Some staff did not get that. Some didn't. And I did, have the same reality check. It was a good reality check though, wasn't it? On which staff really is committed and which ones aren't. And then for some, I have to say, some of my staff, they legitimately had a good reason to be scared. They are high risk, and a couple, I have about 4 of them that truly are high risk and should not have worked through it. But then I do have a section that just let the fear consume them. It became more about the fear than about serving the children. And then I did have, thank God, more than half that were really just, nope, we're here for the children. We will deal with everything as it comes. And I can tell you that those women who were here every day, they worked so hard. They just are amazing people. But they were ordinary people who ended up really buying into my vision, and it gives them purpose, right? It just really gives them that purpose that they want to be here, because it makes their job something bigger to work for. It's not just a job where they clock in and they clock out. Hi, Ronnie. My husband just logged on. So it's just really, you guys, has to be the foundation of your business. It is the absolute foundational piece. When you get that in place, you'll see how everything revolves around that. And I know I probably exhaust my members. If you're on my membership calls every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm always talking about how, like, okay, guys, we're going to come up with this policy. Remember, how does this play into your vision? I'm always just harping on that vision. But it's really so important that you've got that. Everything's going to revolve around that, right? And I will actually talk a little bit tomorrow about what I call my queen bee role, or your superpower, right? And that's where we're going to really just dive in to that, how do we get to that superpower, that queen bee role which is everything's going to revolve around that vision you have. So that's what I have for you guys today. Do you guys have any questions? You can put questions in the comments if you want. I'm happy to answer them. If you're watching the replay, I will be going through and answering questions as we go. And also, I am going to be posting different just questions and discussions that we could do in the units tab that I'm going to be creating for this series, so that we can just discuss it a little bit more, help you guys weed out and get to that vision. So I'm just going to go over really quick the workbook just to make sure that we've got everything. And hopefully you guys got the 5 pillars, which is the first thing in the workbook, is creating a vision with clarity. intentionally creating your center's culture and brand, developing your dream team by being a leader, creating a strong business structure, and implementing and maintaining high quality standards. I will be posting that in the group. So if that went by too fast, don't worry if you didn't have time to write it all down. I am going to be posting a graphic on all of that. And then go just over the questions. Like, remember, why did you originally come into early childhood education? What drew you here? This isn't an easy field to be in, so I highly doubt you just did it because you thought you'd make a quick buck, right? So just look at what brought your passion here. Again, I talked about your legacy. What do you want to see for your life when you're 80 years old and looking back on your life, maybe talking to your great-grandchildren about, this is what I accomplished. What do you want to say? What do you want for the children in your care? When they leave you and they move on to the next thing, what do you want to have accomplished for them? And then how am I going to get my staff to buy in? One of my favorite exercises to do for the vision is, if you have a magic wand, then you could create the perfect center. What would it look like? In this part of the exercise, I want you guys to get detailed. I want you to close your eyes and envision walking into your center. What do you hear? What do you smell? Right? I want every detail. What is on the walls? I mean, take a separate piece of paper for this, you guys, and really write. Then I want you to think about going classroom to classroom, or if you're in a home center, how do you want the home environment to be, right? And every aspect of it. What do you want to see your teachers doing with the children? What kind of conversations do you want to have? Or do you want to hear happening? What kind of interactions? What kind of classroom setup do you want? I want you to literally envision yourself walking in the door first, and then from one room to the next, right? And I want you to, in detail, use all 5 of your senses. Do you smell something in the air? What does the air feel like? What feeling do you get? What are you hearing? What are you seeing, right? I want you to really just break down, what if you could just have a magic wand and create the perfect center, what would it look like? How would it be supplied? Okay. Would you have a natural playground maybe? So think about things like that. Once you're done answering those questions, create your vision. Just go for it. And if you're having a hard time, I know it's difficult. I'm going to put a link to the blog post that I have. That's going to actually help walk you through a little bit more on writing all of this out. And then listen, and I'll also put a link to the podcast episode where I go into much more detail about creating this vision. And then at the bottom for today, I actually put a piece that says, I will present my vision to my staff no later than. I want you to schedule a staff meeting. Even if it's in July or August, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen right now, even if it's over Zoom, but schedule it. Put it on the calendar, tell your staff, put it out there so that you're accountable to get it done, and make sure that you make this an annual meeting. And then I added using this platform because we don't know how we're going to do it right now. Maybe it's going to be a Zoom. Maybe you can do a Facebook. Well, you don't really want to do Facebook Live for this because you want the feedback, right? So make sure that you're getting that back and forth communication. So the next part of the workbook we'll go through tomorrow. So that is what I have today. And Tammy says, I appreciate, oh, thank you, Tammy. No problem. I'm hoping this helps. So my goal is just to make sure that we help other owners out there be able to find, their way through this COVID-19 and the economy that's to come afterwards. So if you guys, again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I've been answering messages all day today already before this even started, and or post it under, I am going to be starting a units tab. So if we could keep them in the units, that would be fantastic. Let's see. Thank you, Evelyn. Vision is moving forward. Oh, yay, Sue. That's awesome. With the STARS quality standards, staff is stepping up and purchased easily because of blessings. Yes, absolutely. High quality materials. Yay. I'm so excited that you're going on with the STARS program. STARS program is one of the best ways for us to get to that next level of quality. NACI is great if you don't have a STARS program or the QRIS program in your area. So I am so happy for you, Sue. LaJoyce says, thank you. You're welcome, LaJoyce. Thank you for being here. So I hope everybody has a wonderful night. I've got to get home and so I can feed my family and take my dogs for a walk. So have a great night, you guys, and be sure to post any questions you have for me. Bye.